Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, and today I'm excited to talk to you about the difference between being busy and being productive and how to use your time in a way that it is more productive than busy. So I'm excited for you to hear this episode today. Hi, Daniela here. Wanting to talk to you today about the difference between busy and productive. One of the things I definitely empower moms to do is to let go of that badge of busy, to ditch the overwhelmed. But I think without kind of clarifying then what needs to happen instead and what to do different, I'm doing you a disservice. And so I apologize, because I think you need to know what to be doing instead to help kind of then take the place of that busy. Because what I see with so many working moms that I work with and women is that they're confused by what the difference is between busy and productive. And so you get stuck in that cycle of busy, thinking that you need to do all the things. And that's where you can then get into feeling overwhelmed and stressed out and guilty. And by being busy, we feel like we should be doing something else all the time, or that we're missing something, where productive ends up being knowing exactly what you're supposed to be doing and that you're right where you're supposed to be and that you're present. And so, I really want to dive deeper into some of the 6 areas and really help you move that needle from being just busy to being more productive with your time. Feel free to hop in and ask any questions as well along the way or afterwards, but I definitely want to help give a little bit more clarification and direction to help you start to move that needle. So the first thing has to do with busy, working hard. If you're busy, you've got a great work ethic. You've always got a lot going on. You're always doing things. But I think when we have a lot of tasks, we're missing out on the ability to be effective with how we're using our time, which is sometimes just breaking things down into smaller ways or being efficient with our time when it comes to really using it in the best way possible, as well as just seeing if you need to even be doing it, prioritizing. Is it important? Is it urgent? This is something I help you women and moms go through in my Chaos to Calm Mom method. We go through the Eisenhower matrix and really take your days and your tasks and look at if you can automate them, delegate them, or delete them, and help take some of those things off your plate so that you're using your time in a better way. The next things is that we can get caught up in the details and, because we want to do things well, we want to be almost perfect and set sometimes too high an expectation for ourselves. But when we do that, we can get stuck in procrastination mode. We can get stuck in that loop of not being able to take any action, versus when we're productive, we let go of kind of that expectation and we just do it. We take perfectly imperfect action, knowing that we'll get better with time and with practice. And so by being able to actually do the task is how we then know where to improve it and how to move that needle on getting things done versus just spinning our wheels in some of the details of our day. The next part has to do with where our direction comes from in our day. If we're constantly being directed by other people's tasks and expectations, and granted, I know there's parts of our time in our day that we're not going to have control over, that things have to happen at a certain time and in a certain way. But when we don't have any choice, we end up just filling it in with a lot of to-do lists from our chores, from our family, from other places, versus having some internal direction in what happens in our day. Infusing our passions, the things we want to do, is how we then are able to not only do the things that have to get done, but the things we want to do, because we're obviously going to be more driven by that end goal of achieving the things we want, instead of just getting stuck in to-do after to-do after to-do list type of item. And so making sure that your passion is part of what you're going to prioritize into each day. By then, being able to do that, you'll find that you'll actually be doing that more often, some of the things you want to do. Next, when we're busy, we say yes to everything, whether it's the PTA's calling, can we volunteer for this in our kids' class? Our boss needs us to take on one more assignment and we don't have any boundaries. And sometimes it's tied into our mindset and our limiting beliefs about what we think, I'm not going to be a good mom. I'm not going to be liked. People are going to think I'm not capable if I don't take these things on and say yes. And mindset is another part of what I help you with in the Chaos to Calm Mom method. But I think by being able to set boundaries, you're actually able to be more productive. You are able to then incorporate, this is one part of balance that I teach, is having those boundaries. You're able actually to be very clear and specific on what you can and can't do, and then you can actually achieve those things and you can be successful in them. And there's ways to be able to say thanks, but no thanks, no thank you, those types of things that doesn't then leave you with that guilt, with that overwhelm, as well as just to work through then that mindset of where we learned that, why we learned it, and how to let that part go. Next, busy has so many reasons why not. I'm too busy, I don't have the time. There's these things that have to get done first before I can be productive. And I'm not going to call them excuses. I know some people do, but I think, at the time, that's what we know. And we really believe those are the reasons why you can't achieve certain things. You can't start integrating different things into your day. But I think, by reframing, again, your mindset and your beliefs about what you can do, inserting your passion is going to help you, again, prioritize and make those things happen. To be productive, you will actually then make the time for the things that you want to have happen. And I think we all do that in our own little ways. We make the time for certain things, not realizing, some of the harder stuff that maybe we want but we don't make the time for are just as important. And so we can be productive if we intentionally decide to make the time. You might have to start off small. I tell people sometimes, even to use, for example, they say, a fitness routine, but I don't have an hour to go to the gym. I don't have time for that. Well, maybe it's a 10-minute video at home that you start. It's a 15-minute walk outside. And by finding these pockets of 5 to 10 minutes to start integrating, whether it's your organization, whether it's meal planning, whatever types of things you want to prioritize and working towards, whether it's connecting with friends more, you will find that by prioritizing that and deciding I'm making the time, even if it's 10 minutes here and there, you will slowly be able to build that habit in and stack that and grow it to a larger part of whether it's a new morning routine, a nighttime routine, whatever it is you are working towards achieving. And the last piece is trying to do everything yourself. And I've probably definitely done that myself, where I feel like, I have to be superwoman. I have something to prove. When I was a single mom with 2 little kids, I felt like I had to be everything to everyone. And by trying to do everything yourself, that's where you get drained and burnt out and overwhelmed, and you're just not healthy or helpful to anyone. And so by being, again, go back and automating, delegating and deleting, and sometimes just asking for help and being able to accept that help. Because I think so many times we think that mindset part of, if I'm not the person doing it all, that people are making assumptions, people are thinking different things, or we start thinking negative things about ourselves. And so being able to kind of, in general, accept help, let go of some things, leave this construct that we know of busy that keeps us kind of spinning in this whirlwind of occupied, but not necessarily happy or fulfilled, and letting go of those ingrained thoughts, which is hard, and actions. These are all practices and habits that we work on together through the Chaos to Calm method. I definitely help give you the tools, strategies, support, and accountability, because I think so many times we hear these things, we try and do it ourselves. We think, okay, it makes sense when we're on our own. It makes sense when things are calm, the kids aren't screaming, when we're not in the middle of rushing through our day-to-day. But with anything new, sometimes by just having that container to really hone your skill at it, to get good at it, to practice so that you are comfortable navigating it by yourself. But again, you need that safe container of doing it with someone, getting comfortable, being able to ask questions and work through challenges that come up. Will you then be able to kind of own it, make it your own, be able to handle things on your own, on the fly, and be able to really kind of turn this into something that's not just what you do, but part of who you are, so that when you approach things, the options, the mindset has already been shifted and reframed to that productiveness versus just busy. So I hope you found these tips helpful. I hope it gave some more clarification and information. Please let me know in the comments any questions you have. I would love to be able to help give you a little bit more information if that's what you need. And thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.